Hi, the last artist I'm going to show you in the realm of abstract expressionism is an artist called Robert Rauschenberg. And what he did is he was one of the first artists, he was American, and he was one of the first artists to create mixed media combines. And he labeled the name combine, and what he did is combined painting with sculpture. And so he, again, is doing non-representational work, but he started to include representational objects. So let me share my screen and show you some of Robert Rauschenberg's imagery. He is under the term mixed media combines because he lived in New York City and he walked around the city and picked up garbage and stuff he found along the way, and he would glue and attach those things to his paintings. And so these clocks, a piece of wood, some scraps, pieces of paper were all collaged, like Picasso did, collaged onto these abstract paintings. He took note from Picasso and Matisse and did scumbling and dry brush and impasto. He even did a little sgraffito, and he also took some leads from Jackson Pollock and did some dripping. And so this is an example of one of Rauschenberg's works. He found a one-way sign. These are folders that would building contractor would use, a license plate, all different things, and he just used them as shapes and designs. He attached something on the ground, so his painting is reaching out outside of the space, including the environment around, and he's scumbling and dry brushing and dripping and creating these really interesting backgrounds. And so Rauschenberg then took the abstraction from the abstract expressionism and some of the sculpture and merged them together. And that's where the word combined comes, because he's combining two things. So he's attaching pieces of fabric and papers to his canvas, in addition to objects that he finds around. He is still following the elements and principles of design of like unity and variety by repeating the circle from the wheel to the circle that's on the top, by having the black and white imagery on the back in the background, and trying to connect images together through the elements and principles of design. He also had pieces that moved. So here's like a door frame that would open and close, and he would put all things inside the door. You can see how he was dripping and expressing himself the way that Jackson Pollock did. He did use some representational imagery, such as signs and buildings that you would see in New York City, but he often put them on upside down and backwards so that you're forced to look at them in a new way, and that your eye has to like struggle to read it a little bit, so that you're seeing it more for its artistic element than what you would see in real life. And here are some more when he got more into his collage, finding pictures in newspapers and magazines, finding imagery and repeating them, and really trying to think about ways in which he can explore a picture frame, a picture plays without him painting images, using images that he found, using objects that he found, and combining them with the abstract expressionist techniques. This one is one of my favorites. I really like that I can see a Renaissance painting of the birth of Venus here, and you know, the funny pages on the back of a newspaper, but the idea of dry brushing and doing some sgraffito and doing some dripping. All of these techniques are combined together into one work of art that combines mixed media and painting together to create these painting, sculpture situations. You might see things like this in the past. You have to realize these four artists we studied, Jackson Pollock, Hans Hofmann, Mark Rothko, and Robert Rochambeau were the first people to ever do anything like this. They were trailblazers. They were not respected at all by critics when they first made their art, but they continued on, and they definitely made a name for themselves in the realm of abstract expressionism. People say, oh, I could do that, but you know what? They didn't. And a lot of people don't do paintings like this. And so it's these artists that are confident with themselves and try new and exciting things. This is how change is made in the art world. So I hope you enjoyed watching the four artists we studied for abstract expressionism.